This is from the Radiance Sutras. There is a place in the heart where everything meets. Go there if you want to find me. Mind, senses, soul, eternity, all are there. Are you there? Enter the bowl of vastness that is the heart. Give yourself to it with total abandon. Once you know the way, the nature of attention will call you to return again and again and be saturated with knowing. I belong here. I'm home here. Continue to appreciate the silence as you stretch now. Get some tea, maybe, a cookie, and then we'll meet back here in just a few minutes.
Randy always gives me encouragement before I speak. But he just said, tell a joke. I don't know a joke.
That was funny.
Was that funny? Oh, good.
How many hipsters does it take to change a light bulb?
Okay, what's the answer? Did you hear the question?
How many hipsters does it take to change a light bulb? It's a pretty obscure number. You probably haven't heard of it.
Okay.
Well, good, because sometimes we really do get serious in this posture. I find myself doing the same thing. This is serious business. But actually, there's such a lightness to it that, thank goodness, that keeps it from being so serious. We've been studying the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which is what the teachings tell us where to look when we're quiet and we're still, and that's important. Because when things start settling down, we're looking for clarity. We're looking for a being with life as it is in the present moment. And so we're up to the 4th foundation of mindfulness, which is just a list of a basic list of organizing principles taken from the teachings. And of course there's numbers 1, 2, 3, But the first one, and we talked about this last week, was the 5 hindrances, or 5 energies. And they're so important. In fact, I've just kind of renewed my own, whatever you do to one's practice.
Interest, maybe?
Thank you. Interest in these 5 energies, because they're always with us. It's like how we live. We live with them constantly, especially in our daily life. But the 5 hindrances the Buddha stresses in our practice, the reason it's probably the first one, is that if we don't know them, then they catch us. They will cause us our most suffering within our sitting posture when we're in our formal meditation. So that's important to know them. They're not the enemies, and nothing's wrong with them. We all have these energies. We have that craving, and the first one, which is craving and desire, greed. The second one is aversion. We don't like the way the universe is going, so we push parts of our life away. The funny one, sloth and torpor. It's not funny, but it sounds funny. Sloth and torpor, where we don't have the amount of energy, physically and mentally, it takes to see what's actually going on in the here and now. And then restlessness. Oh boy, restlessness. Kind of like this. This is restlessness. Just not, the present moment is just not quite enough. I need to add something. Let me add something to the present moment. And last but not least is doubt. And doubt in relative to the practice is, of course, the doubt that we say, okay, these teachings say this and this will happen, but I'm not too sure it will, or it hasn't. So we doubt if we're capable of doing this practice, or if it's even going to work on us. And then, so the doubt sometimes can take us directly away from a practice that is such a wonderful gift, that is teaching, at least have taught me how to live, and hopefully how to die. So those are the energies, and all we're going to do is get to know them. And so desire and greed, that's an easy one. We're clinging. We want things to stay. If we hear something pleasant, birds singing. Oh, the bird stopped. It's that obsessing, mental obsessing. Boy, do I do that. Where I keep it going. Keep it going. Aversion is, of course, not wanting, pushing away, judging, animosity. And again, these feelings or these energies are in all of us, and nothing's wrong with them. They're nature. But this is what we begin to not only notice or get to know, but also begin to know how to relate to them in a way where they are not causing suffering. Sloth and torpor, sloth and torpor is the mind without the vitality that it needs in order to see clearly what's going on within at any given time. And so sloth is like a physical absence of vitality, and torpor is like a mental, dull-headed. I can be very dull-headed sometimes. So, did I say hindrance? Did I say restlessness again? Mm-hmm. Restlessness, of course, is agitation, unsettled. You just can't feel like you're going to jump out of your skin. Monkey mind. And then doubt, as I said earlier, is doubting oneself, one's capability. And so these are to be known. Nothing's wrong with them, like I say. And when we practice with them and get to know them, our relationship to them naturally changes. And so that's one of these energies are what we look for in our practice. And so they won't take us away. We'll recognize when they arise, because they're like all other energies. They will arise and they will fall away. But they're the huge distraction. You know, one of the things when we're in a formal meditation is we want to stay with the mindfulness so that we can actually see what's happening within. And so these energies will distract us, take us away from the present moment, from really what's happening now, what's happening in real life, in the present moment. So let's talk a little bit about the desire or greed, because one of the things we notice quickly is we have these strong urges. I mean, when we want, we really, really want. Whether it's food, do I dare say sex? But contact with others, being ambitious. But as we begin to see them up close, clearly and honestly, then they no longer can move us away from the present moment. Jack Kornfield, one of our leading teachers, I just love this. I've said it 1,000 times. Said, one of his teachers says, you don't like what you have and you want what you don't have? Well, this is simple. Reverse it. Want what you have and don't want what you don't have. And that shift is so simple, yet, as we all know, is so difficult. But that's the possibility, that shift. That happens, that sacred pause that happens with our meditation practice. And so greed and craving is really what we're really experiencing now in our society. It's awful. And unskillful desire causes wars, and it causes a lot of unrest. We know that. Not only in ourselves, but in our communities, in our families, and on the planet. But how many of us have ever stopped to get to know desire, craving, that leads to greediness? Well, it's not built into our society, so most of us haven't, unless it's been an effort to do just that. And so that's what we're doing. And so since the desires are divided into the skillful ones, of course, and the unskillful ones, and they both stem from a neutral energy that we all have relative to the will to do. So painful desire involves, you guess, greed, grasping, and longing. Oh, I see you, I know you. And that's my effort, that's my practice, is to see you within, And so the skillful one, you guessed, are directed by love, vitality, compassion, creativity, and wisdom. So we begin to see for ourselves experientially, we don't have to believe the Buddha or anyone else, we begin to see the difference. Where these energies come in, we have an opportunity to either react to them, cause a lot more suffering for ourselves and others, or respond, or just let them be, but not adding anything to them to create stories. But what happens when we begin to work with these energies and we begin to see their true nature is that quite naturally our lives become a bit more spontaneous. Wouldn't that be nice? Boy, I love spontaneity, but where is it in my life? But being more spontaneous and natural. Seems like we're so calculated at times. And with less struggle and less ambition. That's a push. So with understanding of these energies, there's certainly more freedom and joy because we don't get lost in them. And we don't make up stories about them, and we don't identify with them. We know that they're just energies. They're just like the phenomena that we've studied in our practice with other sensations, with the mind, with thoughts, with the body. So that's our task. Let's get to know these. And so guess what I've done, just for you? Polyester sticker. Most of you know what this polyester sticker is all about. But Gabby, you can take this top off and you can stick it anywhere. But the magical part of this is you can re-stick it. Isn't that wonderful? So here they are, the 5 hindrances. So that's our lesson, is just getting to know them. A quick antidote to these hindrances or these energies is practice wanting what you have and not wanting what you don't have. When I was in elementary school, I went to the First Baptist Church, Arlington First Baptist Church, Sunday vacation Bible school. And I learned this song. I love this song. It's Dharmic. It's written by Johnson Oatman in the 1800s. And it starts out, the first stanza is, when you're upon life's billows, you're tempest tossed. When you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings. Name them one by one. How many of you remember that song? I'm the only one. Do you? Count your many blessings. Count them one by one. And it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings. Name them one by one. Count your blessings. See what the universe has done. I know, Randy, you had an activity at one time where you got up, and I'll let you speak to it. And one of the first things he did was write down what he was grateful for that particular day. Try it. see if it truly works. Our teachers say, and we've got another little sticky up there, says apply RAIN. And we know RAIN, that skillful tool, it's an acronym, RAIN, to recognize these energies. Befriend them. They're not enemies. So we're going to recognize them and we're going to allow them to arise when they arise. And then we're going to investigate them. Because in that investigation, we will see quite clearly when we're quiet and still in our meditation posture, the impact it has on our mind and body. And that's important because that's wisdom. And so then, it's not who we are. And that's nice to know, because how could we be an energy that arises and falls away? Plus, all these energies are going to die with the body. So how could they be us? So RAIN is a very good tool to use with these 5 energies also. Okay, Randy, I'll stop with that. And anything you would like to add before we open it up for questions?
Well, you mentioned gratitude, gratefulness practice. It's nice, really, just to look around. There are many things. Just grateful for a breath, or grateful for light, or grateful that you can be with someone today, or just enjoying nature. So sometimes in the gratefulness practice, just if you have a diary or a book, just writing down just a few things, sitting there listening to the birds sing or the wind blow, or any number of things. It's quite nice, really, just to reflect on those things. With regard to the hindrances, the main thing is the recognition, because from the recognition springs the mindfulness, then the mindfulness of the energy that we're experiencing in our bodies. Then the mindfulness is a non-judgmental quality that just watches, gets to know, sees clearly how these energies arise and pass away, that we don't get so stuck in our sense desires or our anger, restlessness, doubt, sloth and torpor. And the reason that Buddha offers these many teachings is so we'll have some kind of conceptual understanding of what's going on. And that's really important. That's really important to alleviating doubt, the teachings of the Dharma, because there's an explanation, there's a conceptual degree of understanding of what's going on. So you just don't think you're going nuts, when you have out of control desire, out of control anger, and so forth. And when we're looking at the qualities of sense desire, they're sometimes referred to as wholesome and unwholesome. And of course, the way I like to look at it sometimes is which of the different desires that arise connect us with love and kindness to one another, with the things around us, the people we love, and which of the sense desires disconnect. And I sort of like that connect and disconnect as just a point of reference to what's going on. Is this desire that I'm having, is it connecting? Is it bringing more love and kindness to myself and those around me, or is it creating more, is the desire I'm having creating more of a real narrow tunnel that's pushing everything else away? So it's important to recognize them. Another thing is sometimes something will happen, and let's say something occur, we hear something, and we get real anxious about it. Maybe you hear something on the radio, or you read something, you feel the anxiety, you can feel it in your body, right? you know where it's at. And then if it's not recognized, sometimes we feel the unpleasant situation that's arising from the anger. It could be restlessness or anything. We feel that, right? So automatically, then there becomes an aversion to it because we don't like it. We want to push it away. So what are we adding? We're adding another hindrance on top of that hindrance. And then we want that to go away. So we end up with this totally, total multiple hindrance attack. But if we can recognize it pretty quickly, then we can start to see it for what it is. We can start to bring it into our bodies. We can feel where we're noticing it. We can look at it with a non-judgmental quality. And then that helps to stop it from keeping on growing, where it can completely take us over. Okay, so I love the hindrances. They're really cool. The whole practice can be the hindrances. Okay, so let's open it up for questions or answers. Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, I'm real interested in this idea of a doubt being a hindrance, because the other four really fit together nicely, and there's a modulation between restlessness and sloth, torpor on one hand, and desire and hate on the other, aversion on the other. But with doubt, the opposition is with faith, right? Mm-hmm. And we're told not to take things on faith, right? So it seems to me that doubts is an odd one to consider a hindrance because for two reasons, whereas faith also should be a hindrance then, or there should be some, doubt is the searching process.
Yeah.
So if you could say something more about that.
We always have a little, there's a little faith that brings us here in the first place. We hear something, we hear a teaching, or we read something, and so there's a little faith in wanting to try it out. But then once that happens, then it becomes faith through experience, not belief. So there's a difference there. As I was saying last time, one time I had an interview with Jack Cornfield at a retreat, and I said, I have so much faith in this practice. It was just really just kind of boiling out. And he said, Randy, it's faith through experience, not blind faith. So looking at it that way. And then with doubt, sometimes it occurs because our expectations aren't being met. We've heard something, we think something, we've created some kind of idea about what should be happening, or where we should be going, or what we're supposed to become. And it's not happening, like Anita said. And so there's a doubt then that this even works at all. Why am I even doing this? This is baloney. I'm going to try something else that's quicker and faster and easier. Why do I want to sit here? So that's when doubt becomes, it's important then to have an understanding of the Dharma to help quelch that doubt. But also there's skillful doubt too, where we're just looking at, is this working for me? Is it not working for me? Is this helpful? Is it useful? Is it not useful? So it's like, I think that's where doubt comes up as a hindrance. Does that help?
Yeah, that's good.
With doubt, so.
Yeah.
I doubt it, no. Yeah, over here, yes.
Would the opposite of doubt perhaps be gullibility or naivety?
Yeah, it could be, yeah, just blind faith.
Yeah, so it just removes, because faith for me is laden with religious overtones.
Yes.
But if I had a non-faith kind of term to use, it'd be gullibility, to be gullible, to be naive,
Yeah.
blind.
It's interesting because, in this Vipassana circle, I haven't met too many gullible people. Usually they've exhausted the gullibility, and their bullshit antennas are way up there, just really going and highly detecting. So that's a good thing about most of the time the Vipassana people have kind of met the end of their rope. This is it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You going to say something? Or?
No, Bob was going to
Oh.
say something.
I was going to say, the little gratitude practice you talked about, of course, has a really nice counterpart, and that is to be grateful for all the problems you know you don't have.
Yes, that's good. I haven't
That's
thought
a
of
good
that.
Yeah.
Somebody said if everybody threw all their problems into a big pile and you can see everybody else's, you'd grab yours back. I really found that to be true.
I like that, yeah. Which you don't have. So working with these hindrances.
Naming them is a really noting. In fact, this is usually taught with the hindrances noting. And that is, and once you start seeing them, knowing them, then it's just kind of fun to say, oh, craving, craving. Oh, as you go through the day.
Mhm.
Oh, aversion, that's aversion. Doubt. Oh, here comes restlessness. So sometimes just naming them as you go throughout the day or anytime they come up is helpful. I know tonight.
Pat has a question.
Oh, okay, Pat, go ahead.
I have a question. For somebody who has been in her mind most of her life, so when something comes up that's strong and you feel it in the body, it has to be like really strong for you to feel it, like, oh, okay. But how do you build up, how do you know whether you're having a normal ache and pain or something is manifesting? How do you know the subtle parts? You know, for instance, how do you feel restlessness in your body? Well, how do you feel something that's not like sadness or something that would really strong? The more subtle ones, how do you know whether that's what you're feeling in your body or it's just an aching pain or a normal aching pain? How do you get to know your body? Do you do it through, relaxing part by part, and you do that every day?
Truly, the one, it's the stillness.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're still long enough and in enough time, everything arises. That's why we say practice the same time every day, or the teachings do, because everything's always changing. But the stillness, being quiet, everything does get subtle, much more subtle. That's that clarity. And so, as we practice more and more, we begin to feel or begin to experience that stillness that brings the clarity. Now, I guess you have to practice long enough to get all the hindrances in, but probably a real good way to practice with them is go on a long retreat. Because on a long retreat, you're sitting and walking all day long, day after day after day. And so what happens in silence, and so what happens is everything gets more you think, oh, it can get quieter than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can. It can't get more still than this. Yeah, it can. In fact, I felt a stillness one time that I just really didn't know was there. And it was from a long retreat and going into a cave. So, yeah, it's and it's right effort, because now that you know the energies, you know that that's a possibility. It might not come up in your practice, but it may come up during the day. And you've had enough practice where that sacred pause can come in and say, oh, so that's that restlessness. And it's a good time at that time to feel it in your body. And how it feels in your body is going to be different than how it feels maybe in somebody else's body. So these energies become very intimate. I mean, there's up close stuff. Paul?
I think an interesting question is, when we're talking about this, is what are they hindering?
Oh, that's great. What are they hindering? Yes.
So, you just talked about stillness or being in the present or seeing that there's only this moment. And so they have a real value because it's a twisted metaphor, but they're the smoke that show you the outline of what we're there to see. So when we can recognize the hindrance, like let's just say we're just talking about hindrances, an energy that pulls us away from the practice of being able to stay anchored to the breath in this second. And we'll just cut it down to that hindrance. So what is it? The hindrance is kind of showing you what it means to be anchored in this moment by this breath. And so the two pair off.
They become your practice.
That's the practice.
They're the
right?
object of the practice. Yes.
They're the business that shows what the practice is showing, because what is being hindered.
Yes, what's being hindered is clarity. Because with the stillness and being quiet, we're looking for clarity. We're looking for the truth. We're looking for the truth. Not what the mind can make up, but what is actually in the present moment, where it's the only place, the present, here and now, the only place where we live life fully and completely. Otherwise, we're thinking of the past or the future. They don't exist. It's a mental thing. It's not a being. So it's a virtual reality. So, and that's what our practice is doing. We're seeing how the mind obstructs the clarity, the truth. How sensations, what we do with sensations, all of them, that cloud the truth. So that's why they're important to know them. And before we've sat with them, before we've even begun to even get to know them, we've just lived our lives with them, and they've just, we've just reacted to them. We didn't know or didn't have the wisdom to know that they're going to rise and fall away, and we don't have to make a life out of them. or a story. I'm glad you said that, Paul. That's a good question.
That's why a daily practice. You don't have to go, you may not, we're lay practitioners, so you may not want to go on a long retreat. You don't need to, but a daily practice is important. Just to sit every day, like Anita said, maybe the same time every day, just get your tush to the cush. Be still, see what's going on. And then we can start to recognize these things that come up in our minds and hearts. We can start to recognize our wanting a little bit, what that feels like. We can start to recognize what it feels like to push things away and not want, what those mental constructs are all about. We can start to really feel restlessness sometimes. And many times the hindrance itself is unpleasant, so we notice that too. But I think just sitting every day and just being still helps us to recognize these energies as they come up. They're not bad; they're just energies, and they're fun to work with and play with. Doesn't mean that we're bad if we have sense desire or restlessness.
Means we're human. Melanie, did you have something?
No, I was just, when Paul was describing this, I had this image of a photographic negative, that the hindrance is actually the thing that, the way he was saying the hindrance shows the goal in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They
Yes.
become our object
Oh, yeah.
of,
Yes.
I think the best example of restlessness is when you stop at the red signal and the signal doesn't turn green.
Yes.
That
Yes.
shows your restlessness. You know that you can't move, and as the signal turns green, but still you want to move, and you become restless. But you are practicing, you recognize the fact, and you don't worry about it. That it turns green, and then you move.
Yes.
real
So
good
true. And I have
example.
a teacher in New Mexico, Marcia Rose is her name. She lives near Taos, and she likes to play with her sense desire by window shopping. And and just walking, looking in the windows and feeling, oh, I want that, I need that. That would be sure nice, look nice in my house, or just feeling the different pulls, inside for the craving.
Oh yeah, all I have to do is go to Amazon Prime. Okay, this is what desire feels like.
Okay, I don't need those shoes, right?
Yes. And why go there? See, that's another thing. Sometimes I just go there to what? To crave. What can I crave next? What do I think I need? So it's just part of life. It's not, they're not sinful things by any means, but to be known, they have great wisdom. Great wisdom.
So we'll take one more question, then you got to go.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, so we'll end it with just a short heart practice, metta practice, where we can sort of reconcile everything within our own hearts. Like in the Radiant Sutra, there's a place in the heart where everything meets. Let's just go there. Everything meets and connects in the heart. You feel your body sounds relaxing. Offering kindness to yourself. You could search the entire universe for someone who deserves kindness more than you, and that person could not be found, said the Buddha. So offering yourself kindness. Then offering kindness to everyone else here tonight, wishing for them to be happy, safe. People you've met, your loved ones, family, friends. Just as I wish to be happy, so may you be happy. May you be safe. May your heart rest with ease and well-being. The same energy then to all beings everywhere. May all beings everywhere be safe and be happy, be well. May all beings live with ease. Thanks for coming tonight.
You can take your hindrances with you.
No.
Wherever you, yeah. Wherever you
Thank
go,
you.
there they are.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.